So, Christian, before you started working with me, what were you really struggling with when it comes to your fitness goals?
I would say the things I was struggling with was feeling stagnant ultimately. I felt like no matter what I was doing at the time, no matter how much more I thought I was eating, no matter how much harder I was training, I felt like I wasn't gaining any strength or weight. I just felt like I was stuck.
So, you were trying, what were you trying with that wasn't working for you exactly? Or did you just not really have any plan or any idea of what to actually do to even get started?
Well, before I started working with you, I'll be honest, I was just going to YouTube for most of my information and what I was learning about. I found this idea for a upper body lower split that seemed pretty good at first, and I tried that, and at very first it seemed okay, but then after a while, it just didn't really. I just began to feel like I was stagnating. It didn't really do enough to tell me. I feel like it didn't teach me enough about, like, what I have to do.
What did you try before me that didn't work out? What were some things that you were trying in the gym or with your nutrition that wasn't really working for you?
I would say, I feel like what I was trying that was like different was like, because at the time I was just winging calories. So I'll admit, tracking was something I could have done so much better on. I just assumed the more I ate, as long as I'm constantly eating in full, that's the important thing, but I didn't fully take into consideration the full dynamics of tracking my nutrients, tracking calories, all the important stuff to really keep tabs on that I learned through the program.
So you weren't tracking your calories, you were winging it. I got you. And let me ask you this, man. What made you trust me and decide to actually join this 6 month program to get you these results? What made you trust me for that?
So I'd say there's a few reasons ultimately off the top of my head. At first, I was like kind of thinking, because I was looking and indulging more into fitness content at the time just because I wanted to like, just gain more knowledge. And you were the first guy that ever reached out to me first saying, "Hey, I saw you liked my video. What made you?" It was something like that, or you were asking, like, what made me want to video in the first place or pay attention to your page. So that was the first time a content creator in my mind has ever reached out to me directly. So I was like, oh, this is new. And then as we talked more and more, you talked to me just like any normal person. I felt like you seemed pretty understanding of challenges I may face, or you just seemed authentic and real to me. And then when we had that one consultation meeting, then when I mentioned my birthday and you mentioned you had the same birthday, in my mind I was like, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching about like spiritual stuff or nothing, but I'm like, but if someone's got the same birthday as me and they reached out, that's got to mean something. So that was
Yeah.
also a factor as to why.
That was crazy random. I don't even know how we asked that question, how we brought birthdays up, but somehow I don't know how that even brought up. It was crazy. Like that's very rare. So yeah, glad to hear that. Also, I think I showed you some of my other client results as well that bulked up. So what? Let's talk about the specific results that you got since you started. What have you really noticed the most? What results, it can be mentally or physically, have you noticed the most since you started 7 months ago?
Let's see. So I guess I would bunch that into two different categories. So physically, I did start to notice I'm filling out my clothes more. I'm physically stronger and able to do so much more than I could do before. There's one instance that I can think of where I was helping my dad in the yard move like fallen loggers. He thought we were gonna have to cut it in half, but then I just moved it by myself without any help because I was like, no need to do that. So I would say definitely I've gained on a lot of strength. I when I look in the mirror, I'm just happier with the way my body looks. And as for mentally, I guess hand in hand, the more I kept going into the gym, the more I just got out of the funk I was in before. It just kind of expanded my view, and I was like, no one's really paying attention to me. I was clearly overthinking it before, and with that, as I just started doing more and more, I just began to help get a better idea that the world's just a lot bigger than I expected. And with that, it made it easier for me to see that everyone else is prioritizing themselves. Why shouldn't I? So I guess it shifted my mindset to be more firm with how I stand up for myself, for my energy. So it just became naturally easier over time with that to set the boundaries that I needed to put in place.
That's good. That's good. So you're able to set up more boundaries. And in terms of the 20 pounds, we saw that that made you feel actually more confident. You said you felt more people treat you differently. People actually, how do people treat you differently now, do you feel?
I feel like from before, I feel like before when I was just more skinny and not as confident as I was today, I feel like people would like tend to just brush past me more easily. I feel like people just didn't really seem to care what I had to say. Now these days, it's kind of the opposite. People are actually stopping when I'm bringing something up that's important to them. I've had a few times where patients were not sure what to do, and they were asking the doctor. So I was like, "This is kind of cool,"
That is,
because as a lot of people would notice, as I'd start to get more visibly strong, like that communicated to people that I take care of myself, that I respect myself, that I'm probably have things figured out. So I guess that just naturally got people to show me more respect over time.
100%. I noticed that myself as well with you and telling me your stories about work and such with your patients, wanting to touch your muscles and just overall people not walking all over you in general. So I've heard it a lot as the program progressed, and that's great to hear, man. So I love that. I love that. Now, before me, you never had a coach before, right? Or you never tried a program before
Yeah,
or anything, or you have?
I've never tried anything like this before. I started with you, so this is entirely my first rodeo with any kind of like personal training. I thought about doing it
Nice.
before years ago, but just didn't want to spend money at the time, so I figured, and I guess I just figured that with the internet and YouTube, I just assumed I could figure it out, but I think working one-on-one with a trainer definitely has helped me gain more knowledge than any video could show me.
Yeah, because the videos are just a slice of the pie when you really need the whole pie, the whole picture, and actually customized to you. That's something that you can actually interact with. Because a lot of people will watch YouTube videos, but it doesn't give them the full picture. It just tells them one thing that they need to know out of 100. So just working with someone, you don't have to use your own brain. You just listen to what I tell you. Boom, you follow it. It keeps you from guessing, getting sidetracked, overthinking, and lets you focus more on your actual day-to-day task and work and family stuff. So you don't have to overthink stuff. And you just follow the workouts, you just follow the nutrition, and you just check in every week. So it's great. So how did my feedback during our check-in calls, just messaging you in general, or I guess my support and accountability as well help you personally?
I would say accountability has definitely been one of the biggest things to help me. Back to the YouTube thing, I think before like, differences with that versus say personal training that I feel like a lot of people don't really think about is you can gain all the knowledge through the internet you want basically, but if you don't have the accountability or someone helping hold you up to the standards you want to set for yourself, I think that makes a very big difference versus say, you know what I mean, just practicing it versus just reading or watching about it, if that makes sense. And when it
So
comes to like,
go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, but when it comes to like you and I specifically, I don't know if you quite remember saying this, but there's one thing you have said that stuck with me that I don't plan on for, but I don't think I'm going to forget. It was in one of our check-ins towards around the fourth or fifth month or so, where you said the line, "You need to be more competitive with yourself." And I'd never heard that until you said it, so I to me that stuck with me and really taught me I need to do more to push myself. I need to do more, aim for higher. So that's one line I will always remember.
Yes, I've said that too. Actually, I onboarded a client today. I told him, look, when you go and you track your weights in the gym, you gotta look at your last week's history. You gotta be competitive about beating it. And if you're always trying to beat your past self, you're always gonna do better when it comes to strength and consistency and everything, the whole journey. So I'm glad that was able to help you with the mindset and also take things more seriously and also be held accountable. It's like you said, holding yourself accountable isn't the same as having someone else do it. Huge difference. And even I feel that with like other things, but that's great. Let's see one more question, man. And this is something. Think about someone in a similar place to you. All right, similar situation. They don't have to be an exact carbon copy of you, They're trying to get bigger. They want some help. Pretty busy. They don't really know what to do. What would you tell them if they're on the fence about joining this program?
So, if it was someone in a somewhat similar situation to what I've been before, I probably would just tell them that if they don't try, they're never going to know for certain, for one. And if they've thought about it more than once, it's better just to give it a try at least once just to see, because if you don't at least try to make a change, or if you just do the same thing over and over and expect something different to happen, then you're never going to make any progress. So I would
And
just say ultimately it's about just having a bit of faith and having faith in yourself, in at least make an attempt to do something different, because like I said, if you don't try, you're never going to know. I
that's
don't know if
that makes sense.
that's the best
From
answer I could possibly give, but
from what I'm hearing is that you're telling them to at least try, even if they're on the fence or they're not sure if they'll see results. They should at least try and give it a shot, is what you're saying. Because if you never try, you'll never make progress doing the same thing you used to be doing.
that's how I see it, where it's like if you just do the same thing over and over and expect like, oh, in 1 month it'll be different and it's not different, then that's just foolish logic to me. So I go off the logic of you you have to really actually change the approach, or at least you try to find someone who has maybe more knowledge in this than they might, because knowledge alone can do a lot, but having someone that's got the knowledge and is someone who's going to help hold you accountable to what you say you want to do, then that will make a world of difference in itself.
100%. You only live once, so don't live it in a super skinny body when you could have gained 20 pounds or more. So I agree. All right, now I guess one more question that I have that's I could bring up was, what are your next steps? Do you feel like this program has prepared you to continue making progress on your own? And what are you planning to do next? Now that I'm out of the picture, we're not checking in all the time. What is this program prepared to? Has it prepared you to continue seeing results on your own?
Definitely helps me later. This program has definitely helped me gain a lot of knowledge and practice to see what works and what doesn't. Because after going through this and seeing real results that have changed my body and my life, I feel so much more confident knowing I can just keep up with it like this. And I just know anytime I'm unsure, I know it's because I've either allowed myself to just let things kind of slip past, or I've admitted that, say, well, to utilize my time better. So it's definitely given me a lot of knowledge and confidence in what I know now to make the changes I want for myself.
So you can keep getting results. You know what to do. You're just gonna just hold yourself accountable. But I've been doing it for very well this past few weeks. So sounds good, man. Sounds good.